At this very moment, your body is either storing fat or burning it. There is no middle ground. The switch is controlled by chemistry, hormones, and timing. And millions of people believe that once they start fasting, that switch automatically flips to fat burning. But what if that is only half the truth? What if certain foods can push your body deeper into fat burning mode, even while you are fasting? And what if other healthy additions are secretly slowing the process down without you realizing it? Today, we are breaking down a powerful question that most fasting guides skip. Can 5 specific foods actually activate fat burning mode during fasting? Or is this just another fitness myth repeated so often that it sounds true? The answer is not simple. It is not black and white. And the real science may surprise you. Because fat burning is not a magic button, it is a biological shift that depends on insulin levels, stored glycogen, stress hormones, and even small calorie inputs that most people ignore. Black coffee, green tea, apple cider vinegar, MCT oil, and electrolytes are often called fasting friendly, but do they really accelerate fat oxidation? Do they increase ketone production? Or do some of them technically break your fast while still being marketed as fat-burning boosters? In this video, you will learn what actually triggers the metabolic switch from sugar burning to fat burning. You will understand how insulin truly controls access to stored fat. You will discover which of these 5 foods are backed by real metabolic science and which ones are misunderstood. You will also learn a lesser-known fact about fasting that many influencers never mention. Sometimes it is not about what you add, but about what you remove. There is a big difference between supporting a fast and hijacking it with hidden calories. Even small additions can change hormonal signals inside your body. Research over the past decade has shown that caffeine can increase adrenaline and temporarily boost fat oxidation. Green tea contains compounds that may enhance metabolic rate. Apple cider vinegar may improve insulin sensitivity in certain conditions. MCT oil converts rapidly into ketones. Electrolytes prevent fatigue and help people fast longer. But here is the deeper question: does boosting ketones automatically mean you are burning more body fat? Or are you simply burning the fat you just consumed? That detail changes everything. By the end of this video, you will clearly understand what truly activates fat burning during fasting. You will know which options are helpful, which are neutral, and which ones can quietly slow your progress. No hype, no shortcuts, just clear explanation based on how your body actually works. Because the truth is simple but powerful. Fat loss happens when insulin drops low enough for your body to access stored fat, and when you stay consistent long enough for that process to matter. Some foods might support that state. Others may only create the illusion of progress. If you care about fasting, weight loss, or metabolic health, this information can save you months of confusion. Stay with me until the end, because one of these 5 fat-burning helpers might not be helping at all, and understanding why could completely change the way you fast. Welcome to our channel, where we break down complex health topics into clear and simple explanations. If you want science-based insights without noise or exaggeration, make sure you subscribe and join our growing community. Let's begin. The big problem starts with a simple phrase that sounds powerful but is often misunderstood: fat burning mode. People say it as if it is a button inside the body, as if you press it and fat begins to melt away. But fat burning mode is not magic. It is a biological state. It means your body is using stored fat for energy instead of using sugar. That is all. Your body always needs fuel. It can burn glucose, which comes from carbohydrates, or it can burn fat, which comes from stored body fat, or the fat you eat. The shift between these two fuels depends mainly on one hormone: insulin. Insulin acts like a storage signal. When insulin is high, your body focuses on storing energy. It stores sugar as glycogen. It stores extra energy as fat. When insulin is low, your body gets permission to release stored fat and use it as fuel. During fasting, insulin levels drop because you are not eating. As insulin drops, your body slowly runs out of stored sugar. When that stored sugar becomes low enough, your body increases fat burning. If fasting continues, the liver begins producing ketones. Ketones are small molecules made from fat. They act as an alternative fuel, especially for the brain. This state is called ketosis. Ketosis does not mean magic weight loss. It simply means your body is relying more on fat for energy. Now here is where confusion begins. Some experts say that if you consume anything during fasting, even a small amount, you break the fast and stop fat burning. Others argue that certain foods or drinks can actually increase fat burning even while fasting. One group says 0 calories only. The other group says specific compounds like caffeine or MCT oil can enhance the process. Both sides speak with confidence. Both sides show charts and studies. So who is right? To answer that, we need to understand how fat burning actually works inside the body, step by step, without exaggeration. When you stop eating, your blood sugar begins to fall. As blood sugar falls, insulin drops. That drop is the first key. Low insulin opens the door to stored fat. Next, your body begins using glycogen. Glycogen is stored sugar inside your liver and muscles. It is your short-term energy reserve. Your body prefers to use this first because it is easy to access depending on your activity level and previous meals. Glycogen can last several hours. As glycogen empties, your body must look for another fuel source. This is the second key moment. When glycogen becomes low and insulin remains low, your body increases fat breakdown. Fat cells release fatty acids into the bloodstream. The liver converts some of these fatty acids into ketones. Your muscles begin using fatty acids directly. Your brain starts adapting to ketones. This is the metabolic switch people talk about. It is not instant, it is gradual. It is controlled by hormones, not by motivation. If insulin rises again, even slightly, fat release slows down. That is why what you consume during fasting matters. Even small amounts of calories can create a hormonal response, not always large, but enough to change the balance. If this switch depends on insulin, then what you consume matters. Now let us examine the 5 foods that are often promoted as fasting boosters. We will look at what they are, why people believe they help, what science actually shows, and what the realistic verdict is. The first is black coffee. Black coffee is simply brewed coffee without sugar, milk, cream, or sweeteners. It contains caffeine and almost no calories. Many people drink it during fasting. The reason people say it helps is because caffeine stimulates the nervous system. Caffeine increases adrenaline. Adrenaline signals the body to release stored energy. This includes stored fat. When adrenaline rises, fat cells respond by breaking down triglycerides into fatty acids. These fatty acids enter the bloodstream and can be burned for fuel. Some studies show that caffeine can increase fat oxidation, which means the body burns a higher percentage of fat for energy. Caffeine can also slightly increase metabolic rate for a short time. That means you may burn a few more calories throughout the day. The key detail is that plain black coffee contains almost 0 calories. It does not significantly raise insulin in most people, so it does not block fat release in a meaningful way. However, the effect is not dramatic. It does not double fat loss. It does not override overeating. It simply supports the environment where fat burning is already happening. The verdict for black coffee is that it supports fat burning during fasting, not because it activates a hidden switch, but because it does not interfere with low insulin and may slightly increase fat oxidation. The second is green tea. Green tea is made from unoxidized tea leaves. It contains caffeine, but usually less than coffee. It also contains compounds called catechins. One of the most studied catechins is EGCG. People believe green tea helps fat burning because research suggests that EGCG may enhance fat oxidation and slightly increase metabolic rate. EGCG may also work together with caffeine to extend its effects. Green tea has very few calories when consumed plain. It usually does not cause a strong insulin response. Some studies show that green tea extract can increase fat burning during exercise. However, the effect size is small. It is not a powerful accelerator. It is a mild enhancer. Drinking green tea alone will not create significant fat loss without a calorie deficit and consistent fasting or controlled eating. The verdict for green tea is small support. Not magic, not a shortcut. Just a mild metabolic helper that does not break the fasting state in most cases. The third is apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is fermented apple juice that contains acetic acid. It has almost no calories when diluted in water. Many people claim it lowers blood sugar and improves insulin sensitivity. Some studies suggest that vinegar can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes when taken with carbohydrates. It may slow gastric emptying, meaning food leaves the stomach more slowly. It may also improve insulin sensitivity slightly in some individuals. During fasting, insulin is already low, so the question becomes whether apple cider vinegar enhances that low insulin state further. The evidence is limited. It does not directly increase fat oxidation in a strong way. It does not significantly raise ketone production on its own. It may support metabolic control by improving insulin sensitivity over time. That could indirectly help with fat loss if overall eating habits improve, but it does not flip a fat-burning switch during a fast. The verdict for apple cider vinegar is that it may support metabolic control, but it is not a fat-burning trigger. The fourth is MCT oil. MCT stands for medium-chain triglycerides. These are fats that are absorbed differently than long-chain fats. They travel directly to the liver and are quickly converted into ketones. Because of this, many people add MCT oil to coffee during fasting. They claim it increases ketone levels and deepens ketosis. It is true that MCT oil can raise blood ketone levels quickly. It provides energy that does not require a large insulin response. However, it still contains calories. Pure fat contains 9 calories per gram. When you consume MCT oil, you are providing your body with energy. Your body will burn that energy first before turning to stored body fat. Blood ketones may rise, but those ketones partly come from the fat you just consumed. That does not automatically mean you are burning more body fat. In a strict definition of fasting, consuming MCT oil breaks the fast because it contains calories. It may not spike insulin strongly, but it interrupts the zero-calorie state. The verdict for MCT oil is that it may raise ketones, but it technically breaks a strict fast and does not guarantee increased body fat burning beyond the calories consumed. The fifth item is simple. It is not trendy. It is not exciting. It does not promise rapid fat loss. It is salt and electrolytes. Salt contains sodium. Electrolyte mixes may contain sodium, potassium, and sometimes magnesium. These minerals do not contain calories. They do not raise blood sugar. They do not increase insulin. They do not provide energy, so they do not activate fat burning directly, but they play another role that is often ignored. When you fast, insulin drops. When insulin drops, your kidneys release more sodium. This means your body loses water and salt faster during fasting. That is one reason people lose several pounds quickly in the first few days. Much of that is water weight. Along with water, electrolytes leave the body. When sodium drops too low, people feel tired. They may feel dizzy. They may get headaches. Muscles may cramp. Energy feels unstable. Many people blame fasting itself for these symptoms, but often it is not lack of food. It is lack of electrolytes. Adding salt to water or consuming a zero-calorie electrolyte mix can reduce these symptoms. It can improve energy. It can reduce lightheadedness. It can help someone continue fasting longer without discomfort. And this is the key point. Salt does not increase fat burning. It does not increase ketones. It does not speed up metabolism, but it supports the fasting process by reducing stress on the body. When someone quits fasting early because they feel weak, fat burning time is shortened. When electrolytes help them stay consistent, total fasting time increases. Over days and weeks, that consistency matters more than any small metabolic boost from a supplement. So the verdict for salt and electrolytes is clear. They do not activate fat burning, but they help sustain fasting, and that indirect support can matter. Now we reach the truth most people miss. Many discussions about fasting focus on tiny details. 1 teaspoon of this, 1 tablespoon of that, 1 cup of this drink. People debate whether 5 calories break a fast. They argue about technical definitions. They search for the perfect hack. But fat burning is controlled mainly by 3 major forces: calorie deficit over time, hormones, consistency. Calorie deficit means your body uses more energy than it receives. Over time, that forces the body to use stored fat to fill the gap. Hormones determine when stored fat can be accessed. Insulin is the main gatekeeper. When insulin is high, fat is stored. When insulin is low, fat can be released. Other hormones like glucagon, adrenaline, and cortisol also play roles, but insulin is central. Consistency ties everything together. One long fast followed by days of overeating will not create lasting fat loss. A small calorie deficit maintained steadily will. Some foods may slightly increase fat oxidation. Some may improve insulin sensitivity. Some may reduce hunger, but none of them override energy balance and hormonal control. There is no magic food, only metabolic conditions. When insulin stays low long enough and total calorie intake stays controlled over time, fat loss happens. When those conditions are not present, fat loss slows or stops no matter how many fat-burning drinks are consumed. This is where many people become confused. They see ketone levels rise after adding MCT oil and assume body fat burning increased. They feel energized after coffee and assume metabolism doubled. They drink apple cider vinegar and believe fat cells are shrinking instantly. But the body does not respond to belief. It responds to biology. If you consume calories, your body burns those calories first. If insulin rises, fat release slows. If total intake exceeds total use over time, stored fat increases. Small metabolic boosts exist, but they are small. A slight increase in fat oxidation does not cancel a large calorie surplus later in the day. A mild increase in metabolic rate does not override frequent high-calorie meals. The reason fasting works for many people is simple. It creates a structured period where insulin stays low. It reduces eating opportunities. It often leads to lower total calorie intake without constant counting. That is the real mechanism. Not secret foods, not hidden switches, structure and hormonal timing. However, not everyone should follow fasting advice without caution. People with blood sugar issues need to be careful. If someone has diabetes or experiences frequent low blood sugar, fasting can cause dangerous swings if not managed properly. Medication use can complicate things further. Insulin or certain oral medications may need adjustment under medical supervision. Fasting without guidance in these situations can be risky. People who overuse caffeine should also be cautious. Excessive caffeine can increase heart rate, raise anxiety, disturb sleep, and elevate stress hormones. Poor sleep alone can disrupt hunger hormones and increase cravings the next day. That can cancel the benefits of fasting. Caffeine in moderate amounts may support fat oxidation slightly, but overuse creates new problems. Another group to watch is people who turn fasting foods into hidden calorie sources, adding large amounts of cream, butter, sweeteners, flavored syrups, or multiple tablespoons of MCT oil can turn a fast into a high-calorie event. The label may say fasting friendly, but the body still counts energy. These small additions can slowly erase the calorie deficit that fasting was meant to create. The final takeaway is both simple and powerful. Fasting works because insulin drops. When insulin drops, stored fat becomes accessible. When fasting is consistent and total calorie intake over time remains lower than total energy use, fat loss occurs. Some zero-calorie drinks may support the process by reducing hunger or increasing alertness. Electrolytes may make the experience easier and safer, but real fat loss comes from consistency. It comes from repeating the process long enough for biology to respond. It comes from understanding that the body follows rules. Those rules are hormonal and energetic. They are not emotional. They are not influenced by trends. Fat burning is not activated by food. It is activated by absence. Absence of constant insulin spikes. Absence of frequent calorie intake. Absence of energy surplus over time. When those conditions are present, the body adapts. It shifts fuel sources. It releases stored fat. It produces ketones. It becomes metabolically flexible. That is the state people are searching for. Not a magic ingredient, not a special drink, but a sustained environment where the body has no choice but to use what it has already stored. Now it sets your turn. Which of these do you use during fasting? Black coffee? Green tea? Apple cider vinegar? MCT oil? Or just salt and electrolytes? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and your experience might help someone else who is trying to figure this out. If this video gave you clarity, if it cleared the confusion, and if it helped you understand how fat burning really works, then support the channel. Subscribe for more simple science-based breakdowns with no hype and no shortcuts. We focus on what actually works inside the body. Like this video so more people can see the truth about fasting. Share it with someone who is trying to lose fat but feels confused by all the mixed advice online. Real change starts with real understanding. And this is just the beginning. Subscribe, stay consistent, and I will see you in the next video.